Good evening, everyone. I'm Jason Whitehouse, and I'm here to talk about how unions impact companies, in particular how they hamper their growth. Now, this topic's been studied extensively by economists, political parties, and academics. Most concede that while unions can sometimes achieve benefits for their members, I want to show how they also harm the overall economy. Some unions win higher wages for their members, but with these higher wages, you have to remember what their goal is. Their goal is to make money themselves. Most unions have people that are employed specifically to keep the union functioning. With these higher wages, unions bring less investments, fewer jobs, and higher prices for the consumers. Research also shows that widespread unionization delays recovery from economic downturns. Contracts that are in place must be honored, that were negotiated when growth was on its way up. A 2009 article by Brian George, a writer for the economics.com, explains that unions function as a labor cartel. A labor cartel restricts the number of workers in a company or industry to drive up the remaining workers' wages. He compares this to the way OPEC works, the Organization for Petroleum Exporting Countries, how they'll cut production to raise the price. To further explain this, newstime.com reported that in 2012, many of the participating countries in OPEC actually depend on a certain minimum amount of price per barrel. When it goes below that, they cut production. Unions win higher wages for employees only at companies with competitive advantage that allow them to pay these wages. The economy has become more competitive over the past generation, and companies have less power to pass these prices on to consumers without going out of business. This, along with the fact that unions function as labor cartels that seek to reduce job opportunities, causes unionized companies to lose jobs. Economics consistently find that unions decrease the number of jobs available in the economy. Companies and governments also can become burdened with 401k or pension plans that are negotiated at the height of the company's growth. When that earning power is weakened, growth does not continue. They are left with insurmountable monetary obligations to retired workers. According to the Center for Retirement Research at Boston College, which released a troubling analysis when researching state government future debt, in early 2000, the amount of retired money promised to employees will exceed cash on hand by more than $1 trillion. Another reason pension plans are headed toward financial disaster is ever-expanding public sector unions flexing their political muscle and negotiating lavish benefits to be paid out decades from now. A 2010 article in the Washington Times by James Shirk explains that California's public employee retirement system faces $500 billion in unfunded liabilities. And this just goes on to the previous article's point, and California came in at the #1 topic as far as state governments that are really behind the 8 ball as far as future debts. Michelle Mastrofano, clinical associate professor at Drexel University, pointed out in a recent article in April of 2013 in the Huffington Post, for unions to be beneficial to the economic growth, union leaders need to understand business more, the financials, the trends, how to evaluate the viability of business. And to further support this, I interviewed Frank Collette, who has served as a union leader for more than 20 plus years at Brown and Foreman. He is a friend of the family, and while our discussion was a little heated, he did agree that a more business/growth approach to negotiations could benefit everyone. While unions may very well be a necessary counter to unconstrained capitalism, my hope is that if there are any future union members or leaders, you will realize that it is necessary to negotiate to a win-win, particularly in these troubling economic times. And that is all I have. Thank you for your time.